Welcome back. With the stock market at 13,000 today, everybody wishes they would have invested about 4 years ago, huh?
Yeah, everybody should start piling in right now.
Piling in right now, or playing. I thought you actually said playing the violin.
Yeah, yeah, it might be dead, right?
Geoff Koepp joins us, who has been in the financial planning industry for 7 years and is the owner and founder of Atlas Financial and myatlasplanner.com. Welcome back, Geoff.
Hey, nice to be back.
Okay, so let's just, I really do want to hit on this 13,000 thing because it's, you know, it's going to be all over everywhere you look.
Yeah, it's kind of a don't fight the Fed thing. I mean, in central banks, you don't want to fight them either. It's kind of a lot of loose money out there from the central banks trying to prop up a lot of stuff. So I don't think it's going to, do a whole lot, but I think it's going to keep the market. They're trying to prop up the market as much as possible. So.
What does it do to the psyche of your average client who's working with you for financial planning?
You mean what they're doing with the markets? Or?
Yeah, I mean, they see this number. I mean,
every client feels good when their money's up, so there's no complaints from a client when they're making money. The trick is protecting it on the way back down.
Right.
And actually managing it. I think that's one of the things that a lot of people, in even creating a plan, that's what I was going to talk to you today about, implementing plans. But even in implementing a plan, they tend to make it and then drop it or walk away from it or not follow up on it or not circle around and look at it again to see if things have changed. I mean, if you think from a plan that you created in 2007 at the height of the market, to what would you plan today? Completely different,
pretty
right?
different.
And so most people aren't spending the time. They really need to be, even if you do it yourself, even if you're going to sit down and write your own plan, at least get a plan and have one and make adjustments and review it. Even with your budget, those are all things that you want to review on a regular basis. But most people don't do that. They just kind of wing it or, roll the dice and hope everything's going to turn out. And so it really makes a big difference when people are planning. I think they said the retirement department in the federal government had a study saying that there was only 44% of people have ever even tried to figure out how much they need for retirement. But 100% of us are going to retire at some point, well, unless we don't make it,
Sure.
Yeah, but so that's just one of those things that there really needs to be a lot more follow-up from people on their financials and just doing some measuring and some looking back. If I look at it from my project management perspective, it's a lot about risk management in that. And so if I look at what happens with the market right now, I'm looking like, okay, what do I have that's going to protect that? I like having the gain, but I hate seeing the down. People are really exuberant on the way up. They're also panicky on the way down. And so helping people manage that is really the biggest part of any financial plan. And doing that on a regular basis is really something that helps people have a good psyche about even when it's up or down, knowing what's going on and what to expect and how does their information apply to what's going on and having that as a filter.
Well, and I would imagine, if you do start that plan, it's much easier when the market hits 13,000 or when it goes back down. It is easier to make an adjustment to any plan than it is to start a new one.
Right. I mean, it's always easier to make the small tweaks along the way. Because if you think about it, I mean, I when I worked in IT and doing project management work and those kind of things, the goal was to get to the final project or get it completed and do it with the least amount of risk that you wanted to take on. And most people create a lot of risk by either not taking action, which is probably the biggest mistake that people make, is just not taking action. They're like either paralyzed by fear or whatever it is, or there's so much going on. The Fed's not doing something or they are doing something and Congress is doing something. The president's doing a bailout bill for mortgage lenders. I mean, there's all sorts of stuff going on out there. And so they're just like, I'm just going to wait it out and see what to do. And there's a lot of opportunities right now that they really could be making a lot of money or making investments or taking advantage of what's happening all along the way. And I think that that's the mistake most people make, is that they think that they need to wait for some magic thing to happen before they can start saving for retirement.
Inheritance or
they're just always, it's always going to be better
like voodoo,
tomorrow.
I guess, than magic.
Yeah, it's always like it's greener on the other side or something. There's always some psychology that tomorrow's going to be better, so I'll start doing it then instead of starting to do it today and then tweaking it tomorrow and tweaking it tomorrow and tweaking it tomorrow. Because no plan is good forever, but any plan will work as long as you start doing one.
So what do you think are some of the biggest barriers to people for lack of a better term, getting off their butt and going and trying something?
Weight.
Can I say that, Michael?
maybe they gain some weight sitting on it. I don't know.
Like video games. Yeah, Number one barrier to financial planning.
I think a lot of times it's just a matter of somewhat, feeling comfortable that you have somebody who can help you get there. Having somebody you like, having a relationship with your money. Most people don't have a relationship with their money, nor do they have a relationship with an advisor to help them. And so when things go wacky like they are, they just kind of shut down because they don't have any good input to tell them, hey, this is good or this is bad or here's an opportunity. And that's usually what I'm trying to guide a lot of my clients to is the opportunities. Maybe something happened. It's like, yes, but we can do this and it'll put you right back on. Okay, great. That's all they need to know is how are we going to fix it and how are we going to get there. And if they don't have that regular feedback coming back, that's usually the point at which they, don't have a good mechanism to make a decision going forward. So.
Well, I mean, I think to what you're saying, to paraphrase a little bit, it's kind of focusing on the solution when something happens, not on the problem. Because certainly you could look at the stock market today and go, oh, I should have invested 2 years ago, 3 years ago. Now you've got this big problem or this, what appears to be a problem.
Well, the good thing is if you actually haven't done anything in 10 years, you're just now back at even. So it would be fine. So this is a good a time as any to get started.
So is that something that you see? Are people taking more? I mean, you said 44% of people aren't doing really any type of planning.
And they haven't even figured out a number about retirement. They're not necessarily planning. Planning is a much smaller number than that even. So if they were actually spending the time to do planning, they would actually know their number. And I think that makes people pretty confident. It's kind of like once you know what you need to do, you can confidently go and do and act and implement. And that creates a lot of positive energy and you're moving and you're doing something. And so you continue to build on that.
Is that scary as a country to know that nobody's really, less than half? Is that a scary fact that everybody?
Well, like I said, it's probably like only 5% actually do planning. So if you think about it, it's like there's a whole 95% of us that are winging it. It's pretty scary. That is pretty scary.
I mean, because you think that, whether it's a house and,
So I guess most people can just feel comfortable that they're in the 95%.
Not the 99.
99. So, and so there's no time like the present. And that's all I would want to tell people is just get started doing something. Do it today.
Just set the appointment.
Yeah. Find somebody you like and start today. And just start at least investigating what your number is, figure out your number, create a plan to get there, and then start measuring and following up and measuring and following up. And that's really all it's going to take. And you'll start to feel a lot more positive about anything, whether the market's going up or down. You'll know what your plan is and how you're going to get there. And that's really what's important for people.
I like how you said find someone you like. Yesterday, we were talking about I had actually gone skiing up at Alpental. And I basically had these friends who were acting as guides. And we were out in the back country. And, it was like 4 feet of powder. It was amazing. But, we look left and he's like, by the way, there's like a 200-foot cliff about 15 feet that way. And you look right and there's a 20-foot cliff. And it's like, you got to find the right guide or the right advisor for you, somebody you like, because some people, myself included, probably wouldn't have gone there if I knew those cliffs were there till they pointed them out. But some people, they don't want to take any of that risk. They want to stick to the bunny hills.
That's right. And so, but nobody's actually asked them what they want. It's like, hey, I got this investment. You can buy this investment. It's going to do this. Great. Well, but what did you want? And most people haven't spent the time to sit down with somebody to, work with them about what, if you said, I just really want to do bunny hills. I don't want to fall off a 200-foot cliff. You would have said, oh, well, maybe you should go down to that hill.
Yeah,
it's like, I would have been much happier. You could have just told me that beforehand. I didn't have to find this out by, trauma. So, it's one of those things that I think a lot of people need to, have a relationship with somebody, and it really is important. A lot of people talk financial speak to their clients, and the clients are, just don't know. I mean, it's like you're talking annuities and insurance and whatever REITs and all these things, and they're like, what's the end result? What is it going to get me here? And that's really what's important. I don't think a lot of people have a relationship with an advisor who can talk to them in their language, and that's really important.
Well, Geoff, we have to go to break, but when we come back, we're going to bring everybody back and talk a little bit more about these barriers to entry and getting people to, overcome some of these challenges before they start a financial plan, go through potential bankruptcy, sell their house, and more. My name is Ben Brash, and that was Geoff Koepp. You're listening to Brashonomics.